I stumbled into this. To be quite honest, I stumbled into this. And when people ask me what, and along the way, people have been asking me, what made you go into business? What made you go into business? What made you go into business? What made you start Centonomy? And I always seem to have different answers because it's different things. And it was just like I was on a train and this is where the journey ended up. And it's to recognize you're on the journey. So I knew my last job, I knew I didn't want to be there. And that's all I knew. I knew I didn't want to be there. And it was this feeling of I'm living dead. Have you ever felt you're living dead? You're going live, you're doing the routine, but something, and you have to stop blaming the job because I've been blaming many jobs all my life. So I stepped out, and at that point, I did just exactly what I had been trained to do. My last job was in the investment industry. So I decided, let me go and help people buy and sell shares in the stock market. And I think one of the things I immediately learned is how I was associating what I do from me. So when I was doing the stockbroking business is when my money lessons came up, because there's no salary. And you start questioning what were you doing when you were actually earning a salary, because now you're in biashara and there's actually no salary. There's no thing on the 24th that a credit has gone into your bank account. But why I say I stumbled into it, it was in that I started having, first of all, I'm reflecting on my own financial issues. I'm saying, Sheke, you're going to see a client now on financial planning, but you can't fuel your car. Is there something wrong with it? And I hope they don't ask you for what is the size of your portfolio to prove whether you can do the job. And then I just started having conversations with people, and that's why I've always been a big fan of conversations. Conversations have so much to release to us. You learned it through design thinking, but it's really a conversation to find out and to be able to go a bit deeper beneath the surface as to what somebody is thinking, so how it helps your business. And sometimes you'll get you get the answer that you don't want, but it helps you in the long run. So in these conversations is when I got the aha moment. And I said, actually, this is what I want to do. Have conversations on money. So the next step is, how do you start having these conversations? And it started by one-on-one. I meet you, I help you with your financial plan as I am working on my financial plan. And for me, I've always found my business almost reflects exactly what it is I am going through. And please trust me, having now done this for 14 years, the business always kind of reflects the energy of the founder or the leaders of the business. Yeah. So don't think you're hiding anything. And sometimes when you ask, why isn't this working? Also ask yourself, what is not working within me? So that led now to the start of Centonomy 101, because after a while, you're like, 80% of the problems people have are common. So why can't I put you in a room together and then let's have a class? But the beauty about the classes was the interaction, the engagement, and people don't feel alone. And I know as entrepreneurs, so many times, don't you feel so alone? You feel like you're going through at the same time. But something had shifted, because after I did my first business, in 2009 is when Centonomy started. And I wrote 2 things in my journal as I was starting. It started around April, and by May, I had written 2 things in my journal. If we are doing PowerPoints today, I would even show you the picture of the journal entry. 1, this business will run without me. And it was because in my first business, the stockbroking business, that's the time of Safaricom IPOs. There were days I would find myself, I have not slept at night, or I've slept at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm the one doing, it was a bit manual those days. I'm in the registrar's office helping people with the shares. I'm dealing with clients. They're calling me after news and asking me, why have KCB shares gone down? I'm not a magician, yeah? What is my portfolio? So every day would be, waking up with fear. Waking up with fear. And I know some of you, you're like, when you wake up, you're like, I'm not even turning on that phone, yeah? You wake up, and I thought all the feelings I had thought would leave once this was my own business were still there. So when I was employed, there are some days I didn't want to go to work, but I thought when I start my own business, every day I'll wake up and I'll feel passion. I'll want to jump out of bed in the morning, yeah? And entrepreneurs, I think we're one of the people. Many times we don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Many times we do not get out of bed in the morning because of what is going to face us. So I did this particular journey. And Leila, thank you so much for the way you are thanking my team. It even reinforced how much this is running without me. So my vision has not been fulfilled because of big things. My vision has been fulfilled because this is a company that actually runs without me. So the first thing was, this company will run without me. And it was so important, and I realize it now going backwards, to have that, because it made me do certain things differently from the get-go. So I want to ask you, forget big visions of I'm going to be in 30 markets in 10 countries and all those big things we say. What is your one defining statement for you that is going to define how you're going to run this business? What is that for you? What is that for you? Mine was, this business will run without me. And it became how a value system, and it became how I hire. It became why I go on meetings with people. It became what I do. It became why Waceke is here. All till, having a CEO it was many years later. It was 12 years later. But that one defining statement was everything for me. It became how I teach, how the programs evolved, and I'll come to that. What is that one defining statement for you?